in a state of emergency. That is a fact. Politics has no business when we're talking about saving lives.
Tonight, Governor Whitmer taking her own action. The GOP legislature refusing to extend her emergency declaration, so she did it without them. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Sterling.
And I'm Susan Shaw. The emergency and disaster declaration that were set to expire at midnight tonight have now been extended to May 28th. The governor cited a 1945 statute that says she can do this without legislative input, as well as the Emergency Management Act of 1976. She also extended her order that closes places like theaters, bars, and casinos until the 28th. This is different from her stay-at-home order that's still in place until May 15th. The governor had asked the Republican-led legislature to vote to extend the emergency declaration, but instead of voting for an extension, the House voted to file a lawsuit challenging her authority. Here's what the governor had to say about it tonight while addressing the state during a virtual town hall.
I am not going to make decisions about our public health based on political games. I'm going to make them based on the best science, the best data, what our epidemiologists and public health experts are telling us. You can ask any nurse or doctor or grocery store worker in this state, are we out of the woods yet? And they would say no. It defies common sense and it defies science to make any declaration otherwise. And so we are still in a state of emergency. We have to take this seriously.
News 8 political reporter Rick Albin kicks off the team coverage tonight, wrapping up a very busy day of state politics.
In what was a long, protracted, no doubt sometimes frustrating day for lawmakers and the governor, even protesters, the legislature has adjourned for the week, but not before passing a bill that would codify some of the governor's executive orders into law, but importantly, does not extend the state of emergency. So tonight, the governor sent out another executive order, this time one, she says, that does extend the state of emergency. In that release, the governor had to say in part this: Republican lawmakers are putting their heads in the sand and putting more lives and livelihoods at risk. I'm not going to let that happen. Against that backdrop, there was some heated debate in the Senate.
This is not anywhere near about any of the things that we're pretending that it's about. It's about trying to, some theater. It's sound and fury signifying nothing. This will accomplish nothing. Neither will a lawsuit. It'll waste a ton of taxpayer money, but it'll accomplish nothing. But please, don't get up here and tell me that you're for all these things in the executive orders and ask to have power to sue the governor to end them. It makes absolutely no logical sense, and anyone in the state can look through that.
There's to be a balance between life on lockdown and life lived in the presence of COVID-19. We can no longer allow one person to make decisions for 10 million people. But now the legislature must make a choice to either allow our governor to continue to govern by executive order or to trust our constituents to take the necessary precautions to protect themselves and their families without the governor mandating a one-size-fits-all stay-at-home order.
You heard Senator Hertel talking about a lawsuit, and that's because in both the House and Senate, there were resolutions passed that would allow the Speaker and the Senate Majority Leader to take legal action against the governor. Senator Shirkey seemed to indicate in his floor speech that if the governor tried to extend the state of emergency without approval from the legislature, it would trigger just such action. So now we wait to see. What will they do in the Senate and the House? What will the governor's response be? And how many more layers of confusion will this add to an already confusing time? At home, Rick Albin, News 8.